My girlfriend had secretly rented the house next door with the help of her friends, and I had no idea about it at all. One night, I suddenly woke up to loud music. I went to the window and looked out. There she was, dancing. Then, all of a sudden, she stumbled outside and ran right into me. In anger, she said, "Go away from here. You have no business being here." I left, picked up my things, and walked out, leaving her alone. 1 month later, her best friend called me and explained everything clearly. I'm Adrian, 29 years old, emergency room physician at a regional hospital in Charlotte. Long shifts, high stress, but I love what I do. Saving lives gives you perspective, or at least, I thought it did. Turns out you can be great at reading vital signs and completely blind to what's happening in your own life. I work 4 12-hour shifts a week, sometimes more when we're short-staffed. The rest of my time, I try to decompress. Keep things simple. Quiet neighborhood, modest 2-bedroom house I bought 3 years ago, the kind of place where everyone waves and minds their business. Or at least, that's what I thought until last October. I'd been dating Isabella for almost 2 years. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue in late 2023, one of those warm September afternoons where everyone's relaxed, music playing, burgers on the grill. She was standing by the cooler, laughing at something someone said, and when she looked up and caught my eye, I felt it. That pull. We talked for 3 hours straight that day. She was funny, sharp, had this way of making you feel like the only person in the room. She worked in marketing for a tech startup, always had some campaign or pitch she was excited about. Creative type, always thinking 3 steps ahead. We weren't living together, but we were close. Saw each other 4, 5 times a week. She'd come over after my shifts, we'd order takeout, watch movies, talk about our days. She'd stay over most weekends. We talked every night when we weren't together. Her toothbrush was in my bathroom. Her favorite coffee creamer was in my fridge. I was genuinely thinking about rings. About asking her to move in. About a future with kids and a dog and all the normal things people want when they're in love. The house next door had been empty for 6 months. Old tenant moved out in March, and the landlord had been trying to fill it ever since. It was a rental, decent condition, small front yard with a maple tree, same layout as mine. I'd see the occasional realtor bring people by, but nothing stuck. The rent was a bit high for the area. Until mid-September, when I noticed movement. A moving truck one Saturday morning. Furniture going in. Cars coming and going at weird hours, late night, early morning. I figured it was just another tenant, maybe someone who worked odd hours like I did. Didn't think twice about it. Update 1. October 14th. A Saturday night. I'd just gotten home from a brutal 12-hour shift in the ER, 2 traumas, 1 cardiac arrest, a kid who'd fallen off a trampoline and fractured his skull. The usual chaos. I was mentally exhausted, physically drained. I grabbed a quick shower, heated up some leftover pasta, and crashed around 11 p.m. I texted Isabella goodnight. She said she was having a quiet night in, watching Netflix. I fell asleep almost immediately. Around 1:30 a.m., I woke up to bass thumping through my bedroom wall. Not faint. Loud. The kind that rattles picture frames and makes your teeth vibrate. At first, I thought I was dreaming. Then I sat up and realized it was real. Music. Coming from next door. I got up, threw on a hoodie and sweatpants, and walked to my window. Lights were blazing in the house next door. Every window lit up. Shadows moving across the curtains. Music so loud I could make out the lyrics. Some remix I didn't recognize. Cars lined the street. I counted at least 6 vehicles I didn't recognize. I checked my phone. 1:47 a.m. I had to be back at the hospital by 7 a.m. for another shift. I was annoyed, sure, but I wasn't about to call the cops on new neighbors. That felt extreme. I'd go over, introduce myself, ask them politely to turn it down. Be the reasonable guy, the good neighbor. I walked outside. The air was cool, October chill setting in. Smelled like cut grass and someone's fireplace a few houses down. I crossed the narrow driveway separating our properties and approached the front door. Music got louder with every step. I could feel it in my chest. Before I could knock, the door swung open. And there she was, Isabella, stumbling out, laughing, red Solo cup in hand. Hair messy, falling out of whatever updo she'd attempted. Makeup smudged around her eyes. Wearing a black dress I'd never seen before, tight, short, the kind you wear when you want attention. She didn't see me at first. She was turned back toward the house, shouting something to someone inside. laughing so hard she could barely get the words out. Then she spun around and nearly ran into me. Her face changed instantly. The laughter died. Her eyes went wide, then narrow, then cold. "What are you doing here?" she said. Not a question, an accusation. I was so confused I almost laughed. "What am I doing here? I live next door. What are you doing here?" She stepped back, unsteady on her feet, gripping the door frame for balance. "You need to leave." "Isabella, what?" "Go away from here," she said, voice sharp now, cutting through the music. "You have no business being here." I stared at her. My brain couldn't process what was happening. "Are you serious right now?" She didn't answer, just glared at me like I was some stranger who'd wandered onto her property. Some creep. Behind her, I could see people inside, girls I didn't recognize, a couple guys. One of them, tall, dark hair, wearing a button-down shirt, stepped closer to the door, looking at me. Someone turned the music down slightly. A girl with blonde hair peeked out from behind Isabella, said something I couldn't hear. "Isabella, what the hell is going on?" She crossed her arms, swaying slightly. I said, "Leave. I don't want you here." I felt my chest tighten. Not anger yet, just this cold, sinking confusion, like the ground was tilting under me. "You're renting this place? That's none of your business. You're literally next door to me, and you didn't tell me?" She looked away, jaw tight. "Just go, Adrian. Are you drunk? That's not your concern. You told me you were staying in tonight. You texted me 2 hours ago." She didn't respond to that, just stared past me, toward my house. I stood there for another few seconds, waiting for her to crack, to laugh, to say it was some bizarre prank or misunderstanding. She didn't. She just stared at me with this expression I'd never seen before, detached, almost annoyed, like I was inconveniencing her. The guy behind her said something. She nodded. So I left. I walked back to my house, hands shaking, went inside, locked the door, sat on my couch in the dark. The music kept going until almost 4 a.m. I didn't sleep, just sat there, staring at the wall, trying to make sense of what I'd just seen. At 6 a.m., I got dressed for work and drove to the hospital in a daze. The next morning, after my shift, I texted her. "Me, what was that last night?" No response. I called. Straight to voicemail. I tried again around noon, after I'd gotten some sleep. Nothing. By Sunday evening, I was furious. Not just confused, angry. I called 3 more times. Voicemail every time. I texted again. "Me, if you want to break up, fine. But you owe me an explanation." Nothing. By Monday, I was spiraling. Couldn't focus at work. Nearly missed an order because I was distracted. One of the nurses asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. I wasn't. I drove to her apartment Tuesday evening after my shift. Her car wasn't there. I waited an hour in the parking lot, feeling pathetic. Still nothing. I tried calling again. Voicemail. Wednesday, I texted her best friend, Jenna. Jenna and Isabella had been inseparable since college. Sorority sisters, roommates for 2 years, bridesmaids in each other's future weddings, kind of close. If anyone knew what was happening, it was her. Me. "Hey, is Isabella okay?" She won't return my calls. Jenna. "She's fine. Just needs space." Me. "Space from what? What did I do?" Jenna. "I can't get in the middle of this, Adrian. I'm sorry." Me. "Can you at least tell her to talk to me?" Jenna. "I'll let her know." She never did. I stopped trying after that. If she wanted to end things, fine. People break up. It happens. But the way she did it, cold, dismissive, cruel, in front of strangers at a party in a house she'd apparently rented without telling me, it gutted me. 2 years together, and I didn't even get a conversation. Just silence. The house next door stayed active. Parties most weekends. I'd hear music, laughter, car doors slamming at all hours. I'd see her car there sometimes, parked in the driveway like it belonged. But I never approached. I kept my blinds closed, my head down. Tried to pretend she didn't exist 15 feet away from me. October dragged on. Halloween came and went. They had another party. I worked a night shift and came home to chaos. I started wearing earplugs to bed. Update 2. November 12th. Exactly 1 month after that night. I was on my couch after a night shift, barely awake, still in my scrubs, when my phone rang. Unknown number. Normally I don't answer those. Spam, telemarketers, whatever, but something told me to pick up. "Hello. Adrian. It's Jenna." I sat up straight, suddenly wide awake. "Jenna, what's going on?" There was a long pause. I could hear her breathing, shaky, uneven, like she was trying to decide whether to speak. "I need to tell you something," she said finally. "And I need you to just listen, okay? Don't interrupt." "Okay." Another pause. Longer this time. I could hear traffic in the background. She was outside somewhere. "Isabella rented that house," she said. "On purpose. Next to you." I felt my stomach drop. "What?" "She planned it. For months. She found out the house was available back in August, got 3 of her friends to go in on it with her. They've been using it as a party spot, a place to hang out, and other things. Other things." Jenna exhaled, slow and heavy. "She's been seeing someone else. Since July. A guy named Cameron. He's one of the guys you probably saw that night." I couldn't speak. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. "She didn't want to break up with you," Jenna continued, words coming faster now, like she needed to get them out before she lost her nerve. "She wanted to keep you around as, like, backup, I guess. Security. The stable guy, the doctor with the house, and the good job. But she also wanted to do whatever she wanted. Live this other life. So she rented the house next to yours. She and her friends thought it was hilarious. They'd sit around and laugh about it. How you had no idea, how close she was, how she could live this whole double life right under your nose. She called it her project. That's the word she used. Her project. That's insane," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I know. Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I can't keep lying for her," Jenna said, and I could hear her voice crack. "I told her from the start it was messed up, that you didn't deserve this. She didn't care. She said you were boring, that you worked too much, that the relationship had gotten stale. But she didn't want to lose the stability. And after that night, after she kicked you out like that, in front of everyone, like you were nothing, I couldn't do it anymore. You deserve to know the truth." I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, trying to process it. The woman I'd loved, the woman I'd been planning a future with, had rented a house next door to me, had thrown parties there, had brought another man there, had orchestrated this entire elaborate double life, with me as the punchline. "Why?" I asked. "Why go through all that?" "I don't know," Jenna said quietly. "I think she liked the control, the thrill, the idea that she was getting away with something. She's not. She's not the person you think she is, Adrian. I've known her for 10 years, and I don't even recognize her anymore." We talked for another 20 minutes. Jenna gave me details I didn't want to hear, but needed to know. Cameron was someone Isabella had met at a marketing conference in Atlanta back in July. Smooth talker, worked in sales, the kind of guy who wore expensive watches and talked about his portfolio. The house had been a group idea. Isabella, 2 girls from her office named Bridget and Stephanie, and Cameron's sister, Paige. They split the rent 4 ways. Used it as a weekend escape, a party house, a place to bring people they didn't want in their real lives. Isabella had been careful, meticulous even. Different cars, different times. But not careful enough. Jenna had seen the texts on Isabella's phone one night when Isabella was drunk and had left it unlocked. Saw the photos. The inside jokes. The smug way Isabella talked about keeping me in the dark. "She showed people pictures of your house," Jenna said. "Of you leaving for work in your scrubs. She thought it was funny." When I hung up, I sat in silence for a long time. The sun was setting. My living room filled with orange light, then faded to gray. Then I started planning. Update 3. I'm not a vindictive person. Never have been. In my line of work, you learn to compartmentalize, to stay focused under pressure, to make life or death decisions without letting emotion cloud your judgment. But this wasn't about revenge. This was about accountability. About making sure she understood that actions have consequences. First, I called the landlord of the house next door. His name was Gerald, mid-60s, retired contractor. I'd seen his number on the for rent sign months ago and had saved it in case I ever needed to reach out about property line issues or maintenance. I introduced myself, explained I was the neighbor, and asked if he was aware of the parties happening at the property. He wasn't. "Parties?" he said. "What kind of parties?" "Loud music until 3, 4 a.m. Cars lining the street. 20, 30 people sometimes. Every weekend." He was quiet for a moment. "The lease says no large gatherings. Quiet hours after 10 p.m. "How long has this been going on?" "Since September. And you're just now telling me?" I wanted to give them a chance to settle in. Be a good neighbor. But it's gotten out of hand. I sent him video footage from my doorbell camera. Time-stamped clips of cars lining the street at 2 a.m., people stumbling in and out, someone throwing up in the bushes, noise violations clear as day. I also mentioned that I suspected the lease was being sublet or violated in some way, since I'd seen at least 6 different people living there at various times, rotating in and out. Gerald was pissed. Thanked me for the heads up. Said he'd handle it immediately. Second, I reached out to Cameron's sister. Her name was Paige, and Jenna had reluctantly given me her Instagram handle after I pressed her. I sent her a polite, straightforward message late one night. Hi Paige, you don't know me, but my name is Adrian. I was in a relationship with Isabella for 2 years. I recently found out she's been seeing your brother Cameron since July, while we were still together. I thought you should know. I'm not looking for drama. Just figured you'd want the full picture. I didn't expect a response. But 3 hours later, she replied. Holy shit. I had no idea. Cameron told us he was single. We messaged back and forth. Turned out Cameron had a girlfriend back in his hometown, Wilmington, about 2 hours away. Her name was Ashley. They'd been together for 3 years. Paige was horrified. She sent me screenshots of family group chats where Cameron had talked about Ashley, about planning to propose. 2 days later, Cameron's social media went dark. Third, I contacted Isabella's boss. Not to get her fired. I'm not that cruel, and honestly, I didn't want her to lose her livelihood. But her company, TechVantage Solutions, had a strict ethics policy about workplace relationships and conflicts of interest. I'd heard Isabella mention it before, how 2 people in her department had been reprimanded for dating without disclosure. Cameron's sister, Paige, worked in the same department as Isabella. Different team, but same floor. Same management chain. I sent a brief, factual email to the HR department through their public contact form. To whom it may concern, I'm writing to inform you of a potential workplace ethics issue involving employees Isabella Moreno and Paige Crawford. Ms. Moreno has been in an undisclosed relationship with Ms. Crawford's brother while concealing this relationship from relevant parties. Given your company's policies on workplace conflicts of interest, I thought this should be brought to your attention. I have documentation if needed. I didn't hear back directly, but I didn't need to. Final update. By late November, the house next door was empty. I came home from a shift on November 28th and saw a notice taped to the front door. Eviction proceedings. The landlord had terminated the lease for multiple violations, excessive noise, unauthorized occupants, property damage. They had 2 weeks to vacate. I watched from my window over the next few days as they moved out. Isabella showed up twice, both times during the day when she probably thought I was at work. But I'd switched to night shifts that week. I saw her loading boxes into her car, tight-lipped, no makeup, hair in a messy ponytail. The other girls, Bridget and Stephanie, came by too. No more laughter, no more music, just silence and hurried movements. Isabella never contacted me. Not to apologize, not to explain, nothing. Complete radio silence. Jenna told me later, in early December, that Isabella was furious. That she knew I'd been the one to blow up her setup. She tried to play victim with mutual friends, told people I was obsessed, that I'd sabotaged her out of spite because she'd broken up with me. But the truth got out. Mutual friends distanced themselves. People started asking questions. Her social media went quiet. No more party photos, no more cryptic captions. Cameron, as it turned out, had gotten engaged to Ashley back in August, right around the time he started seeing Isabella. Paige exposed everything to their family. The engagement ended. Ashley posted a long, scathing Instagram story about cheaters and liars. Cameron deleted all his social media. Isabella's reputation at work took a hit too. HR started asking questions. I don't know exactly what happened, but Jenna mentioned that Isabella had been talked to and that things were awkward in her department. Paige still worked there. You can imagine. I don't know where Isabella is now. Don't care to find out. Last I heard, she'd moved to a different part of Charlotte, picked up more freelance work, distanced herself from the friend group. The house next door got new tenants in mid-December. A couple in their 40s with a golden retriever named Murphy. Quiet, friendly, normal. We wave when we see each other. Sometimes we chat about the weather or the neighborhood. It's nice. I'm doing okay. Better than I was. Some days are harder than others. I still think about how someone I loved could orchestrate something so calculated, so intentionally cruel. How she could look me in the eye every day and lie. How she could rent a house 15 feet from mine and laugh about it with her friends. But I also know I'm better off. I dodged something worse. Imagine if I'd proposed. Imagine if we'd gotten married. Jenna and I still talk occasionally. She apologized more times than I can count for not telling me sooner. I don't hold it against her. She was in an impossible position. I deleted Isabella's number in early January. Blocked her on everything. Instagram, Facebook, her email. Packed up the few things she'd left at my place. A couple books, a phone charger, a sweater, and dropped them at a donation center. I'm not the same person I was before all this. I'm more cautious now, slower to trust. I ask more questions. I pay attention to inconsistencies. But I'm also stronger. I know what I won't tolerate. I know my worth. And I know that some people will build entire labyrinths just to keep you lost while they live exactly how they want. She wanted me in the dark. Instead, I turned the lights on. Edit 1. A few people have asked if I ever got confirmation about Cameron and his girlfriend Ashley. Yes, Paige sent me screenshots after I messaged her. Multiple photos of Cameron and Ashley together, family dinners, vacation photos. He'd been engaged since August. That relationship fell apart within a week of everything coming out. Edit 2. No, I don't regret what I did. Not even a little. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.